Thanks for booking an introductory lesson with me. You're watching this video right now so that we have more time in the live session to go over more things like your questions or go over your accent diagnosis. But right now I'll be showing you some things first so you can understand how I teach. This is the agenda. So in the live session, we will do an accent diagnosis where you will talk, I'll listen to you, we'll just have a conversation, and I'll write down issues that we can work on to help you improve your pronunciation and your accent. So you'll be more easily understood, and so you can more easily pass as a native speaker. Then we'll take the notes that I've written down and analyze it so you'll understand what things we can work on and perhaps in what order. And then after that, we can talk more about your goals, how you want to be taught, what works best for you. But right now, we'll talk about how I teach and then some frequently asked questions. When we do the analysis, you'll see something like this. This is just a bunch of notes on a particular student's how they speak, and we'll go through what they said and how they said it. So this will be you, how you say things and how it could be said better so you'll sound more native and more understandable. It will look something like this when we do it in a live session. My teaching has multiple units, usually with related lessons. So for example, with this what's called aspiration, there's an intro lesson, there's a p lesson, there's a k lesson, there's a t lesson for aspiration, and there's extra lessons. We don't have to do all of these. It really depends on what your accent analysis shows. Some people need more of it, some people need less of it, some people don't need it at all. Maybe you already do this quite well. So it depends on you, but I do have multiple lessons focusing on a theme, and then we can pick and choose from them depending on how much help you need. There are two types of lessons. There are accent feature lessons and there are practice lessons. So accent feature lessons are where we mostly focus on a particular accent feature, so perhaps the vowel, perhaps the k consonant or th, perhaps it's something larger like intonation or rhythm or stress. We'll focus on these features and there will be structured exercises that we can go through. And then there are practice lessons which are less structured, so we will do something like read an article, write down or figure out where all the sounds are that you have to work on, and then after that we'll talk. We'll just have free-form conversation, which is practicing what you learned in the accent feature lessons. This is what I use for teaching, so you can see that every student will have their own Google document and I will paste the lessons in there so that you can practice it outside of class, because you have to practice. You can't improve without practice. Then I will also create a Padlet for you, which is an app where you can easily upload things. So for example, you write things or upload pictures or upload and record audio in the app, practice it outside of class, and we can also check for your homework. This is an example of an annotated text. We'll take a text and together we will write down features that we're working on. So for example, here you can see that all the blue ones are the vowel. You can see that the orange vowels are the a vowel. So you need to be able to understand the structure of the word, because it's not enough to know how to say something, you need to know where to say that sound. Just because you know how to say a doesn't mean you know where the a sounds are, especially in a language like English where the spelling is not very good. What you see is not what you get. This is what a typical accent feature lesson looks like. So there's a topic explanation where you can read a little bit about the sound. There might be some diagrams if appropriate, and then we will have some exercises regarding words, then phrases, then sentences, because it's going from short to long, from easy to hard. We'll have some reading out loud like I just showed you, where we'll annotate things, and reading out loud is helpful. You can see what you're going to say. You don't have to think about what you want to say. You just have to think about how to say it, and you can have those notes as well. And then I will use scientific diagrams because this is a science and it's important to understand how the mouth works and how sound works. And then we will do some discussion and free speaking. This is more difficult because you have to think about what you want to say as well as how to say it. So it's one of the hardest types of practice, but it's also one of the most helpful types of practice. But you should go from easier to harder and not just straight into the hard stuff. Alright, so here's some free materials that you can check out. We'll cover this in the live session. Frequently asked questions. How long until I fix my accent? So it really depends on you, your level, your dedication, your goal. I can usually teach concept in one class, but students usually will start to get the muscle memory for that accent feature within 3 to 6 weeks of practice if you practice consistently. It's kind of like learning to dance. The teacher can teach the dance move in one class and you'll know how to move your arms and your body after that one class, but that doesn't make you a dancer. You need to practice it until it becomes automatic. And that's the same thing with accent. Just because you know how to move your mouth and move your tongue to create the right sound doesn't mean you can do it in real time, and you need it to be more fluid. So you want to be practicing on this all the time until it becomes automatic and you don't have to think about it. That's when you know you've really mastered it, when it comes out naturally. So you can focus on the content, not on the manner that you're producing the sounds, but just the content of what you want to say. So that it really depends on you. How many classes to take a week? Most popular is 1 hour once a week, but the most important thing is consistent practice. And classes are mostly there so that I can check that you're doing it correctly, so you can practice it correctly. Because there's no point in practicing something incorrectly, because then you'll just build a bad habit. You need to be really deliberate in your practice so you can say the sound as accurately as possible, so it becomes a little bit faster each time you practice, and it becomes a little bit more automatic each time you practice, so you can say it automatically without thinking eventually. That's the end goal, to get that muscle memory. Alright, so you can click on this. You should join my newsletter. You'll get some free stuff. Check me out on social media, and then I will see you in the live class.